Hi, today we're looking at simultaneous equations. I know you end up pulling your hair out, don't you, because it becomes so complicated, but today's going to be easy. We are going to nail it today. What are simultaneous equations? Now remember, you can write this down, underline it, because these are going to be part of your notes. Simultaneous equations are equations involving two or more unknowns that both have the same values in each question that needs solving. So you've got two equations, they both have got unknowns, and the unknowns are going to have the same value. All right, so they've both got something in common, and we've got to solve what these unknowns are. Right, let's start writing down what these key terms are. Simultaneous, well, that means at the same time. Now, simultaneous equations are funny because there are three ways that we can work or solve these equations. There's by elimination, there's by using a linear graph, and there's also by substitution. But today we will be focusing on the elimination method. Elimination method, well, elimination means to get rid of. Now, here I have two equations. They both have got x's and they both have got y's. Now remember, when I said to you what a simultaneous equation is, I explained that two equations, so I've got 2x 3 minus 3y equals 4, and I've got 3x plus y equals 1. So we have to solve these equations together simultaneously. And because they've both got x and they've both got y, their value, x and y, will be the same in the both equations. Right, time to practice. Let's have some fun. 2x, I'm going to rewrite out my equation. Right, this is equation 1, so I'm going to label it number 1. This is my equation 2. I may as well label it now. And that's 3x plus 2y. Now notice here I've also been very careful that I'm aligning where I can. All right, and I'm being as tidy as I can as well. Now, number 1, number them, which we've just done, 1 and 2. Then I've got, for my second step here, match make. Match make means they've got to have something in common. At the moment, the only thing they've got in common is the x's and the y's, but we need a little bit more than that. So let's do a bit of matchmaking. I'm going to, I think I can see a common multiple could be 6, because if I multiply this by 2, and if I was to multiply this by 3, look, that will definitely give me a 6y here and a 6y there. And now we can start having some fun. So let's do that. Now I'm going to renumber this equation to number 1 now becomes number 3. It now becomes number 3. So it's 2 times 2 is 4. So now it's 4x plus 3 times 2 is 6y. Brilliant. 8 times 2 is 16. Super. Now let's do the fourth one. Fourth one, now number 2 is now going to become number 4. All right, I'm going to change what it looks like. 3 times 3 is 9. 9x plus 3 times 2 is now going to be 6. And 3 times 7 is going to be 21. So let's go through this. Number them. I've just numbered them. Okay. I looked at equation 1. I looked at equation 2. And I noticed they don't have anything in common, poor souls. So I've got to multiply them by something, and I did, to make them have something, which was a 6y as a common factor. So here we got, now I changed number 1 to a new equation, a new look, okay? So the new look was, it became 4x plus 6y equals 16, because I multiplied everything in here by 2. Then equation 2, again, I revamped equation 2. I multiplied it by 3 to get another 6y, because we've got to have something in common, right? So I've got now 9x plus 6y equals 21. So matchmake done? Yes. Bingo. Now we're going to subtract, or we add them. Now in this case, because I'm thinking I want to get that x on its own first. I can only do one thing at a time, busy lives here. So what I want to do is I'm going to subtract 3 from 4. All right, so I've done this. I'm going to draw a line here because that's what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. I want to get rid of 6y because I want to just work out the x first. So what I'm going to do here is 4 take away 9, which gives me minus 5x. 6y minus 6y gives me nothing. 16 minus 21, and that is also going to give me a minus number, so that's going to be another minus 5. Right, so now I can solve. So I've just subtracted, great, right, I've subtracted equation 3 from 4 because I wanted to get that x on its own, because now I'm ready to solve it. All right, and I'm going to do that right now. Now you should know this by now. To get that x on its own, I need to divide it by minus 5, and I'm going to divide it here by minus 5. Now sometimes what we do is, instead of doing it like this, we could, if we wanted to, underneath, just another tip that you may have seen, instead of drawing the line and putting minus 5 at the bottom, I can write my notes as divide by 5, put that in a circle, and then divide this side by 5. And I can put that in a circle. So I've now divided both by 5. So it means the same thing. I'm going to choose my first way of doing it because I think eventually, it's nice to know all methods. Eventually you want it to look like this. So I'm going to divide them both by minus 5. And the reason why we're going to divide it by minus 5 is because when we've got a coefficient, a number, with a variable, a letter, it means that they're multiplying. Okay, minus 5 multiplied by x. So we've got to do the inverse, the opposite to multiply. So the opposite of multiply we know is divide. So that's why I've chosen to do divide here, okay? So now minus 5 divided by minus 5 is going to leave me with x. I can cancel these out, okay? Because these are with x equals, and minus 5 divided by minus 5 will give me 1. Because if I said to you, what's 2 divided by 2? It's 1. What's 3 divided by 3? 1. What's 10 divided by 10? 1. So what's minus 5 divided by minus 5? 1. Easy. So x equals 1. So let's have a quick recap on what we just did. We had the two equations, simultaneous equations, 2x plus 3y equals 8. We labeled it number 1. In red you can see. And then we had the second equation, which was 3x plus 2y equals 7. And we labeled that number 2. We then had to find something in common. We had to match make. we multiplied, match make by multiplying, okay? We had to look for something in common. These guys had nothing in common. All they had in common were the x's and the y's, but that's what we're trying to work out. So here we had to think, okay, what can we do to try and make them similar? So we were really smart and we multiplied the 3y by 2, because that would have given us a 6. And then if we look at the second equation, the 2y, if we were to multiply that by 3, it would have given me another 6y. So that's what we wanted. So then we drew a line, we formed our new equation. So the whole of number 1, equation labeled number 1, was multiplied by 2. All of number 1 was multiplied by 2. Give me the new set. If you look in purple now, 2x became 4x, 3y became 6y, 8 became 16. So all of this was multiplied by the 2, and this is our new equation. So we've now labeled it number 3. Then we had a look at the second equation, 3x plus 2y equals 7, and we decided to multiply that by 3, remember? And so we've now got a new equation, label number 4 now. So 3 times by 3 is 9, 2 by 3 is 6, and 7 by 3 is 21. So now I've labeled them as our new equations, number 3 and a number 4. What do we do now? We've got to get one of them on its own. Now, it's great that we got the 6y together here. We've got them in common because now we had to separate them. So we decided to subtract this time. So we did 6y take away 6y, which gave us nothing, okay? The 4x minus 9x gave us minus 5x. And 16 take away 21 also gave us a negative number, gave us minus 5. So then we had to divide them because minus 5 times x. So because it's minus 5 times, it was multiply. Remember, a letter and a number together means you've got to multiply them. So therefore, we had to do the opposite. We had to do inverse operation. So then we decided to do divide by 5. Because when we divide by 5, it cancels out the 5s, minus 5s, and it leaves the x on his own. And we've got minus 5 divided by minus 5, which gives us 1. Because we, like we spoke about before, if you do 2 divided by 2 gives us 1, 3 divided by 3 gives us 1. So that is how we did that. So now we've got to go on to the next stage. I'm going to draw a line down here because we are now ready for finding out what y is. So this is what we do. We are now going to do substitution because we're going to choose one. We can either do 1 or 2. It's up to you. Okay, we're going to decide to do 1, I think. So here's number 1. This is equation number 1, and it was, we'll rewrite it again, 2x plus 3y equals x. And now I'm substituting, right? So that means this actually becomes 2 multiplied by this, because remember, now we know what x is. We said x is 1, so I'm going to multiply it by number 1. And then everything else is the same. So 2 times 1 we know is 2 plus 3y equals 8. Okay, so these are our new steps. What happens next is we've got 2 plus 3y. So now I'm going to subtract 2 from here. Now I can do it like this. I'm going to take away 2 on this side. And I'm going to take away 2 on this side, which gives me now my new set, because 2 take away 2 is going to give me nothing. So now, lovely jubbly, I've got 3y on his own equals 8 take away 2 is 6. I'm getting there, look. Now I've only got 3y. This is what I wanted. I wanted y on his own. I've got my last step left. So here I'm going to now do 3 times y. So remember, because it's 3 times y, I do the opposite of times. Opposite of times is to divide. So I'm going to divide by 3 on this side, and I'm going to divide by 3 on this side, which gives me y on his own equals, let's put that here, so y on his own, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 3y divided by 3, that allows us to cancel this out. So y became on its own, and 6 divided by 3 was 2. So now we know y. So we did a little brief recap. You've got your notes, remember? So the first thing we did here was we labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4 as we went along. So equation 1 and equation 2, we multiplied them, bit of matchmaking until we got 6y in both. We eliminated the y's. Okay, we got rid of them, eliminated the y's, got the x on his own, pinned him down, found out he was 1, and then we used number 1 to substitute into the second or to the first equation, just to see if we can, through elimination, getting rid of again. And we did. We eventually found out that 2 actually was y. Now we want to put them both into an equation and see, is this for real? Is it really going to work? And so I'm going to choose equation 2. Okay, you can choose equation 1, but I want to try and choose equation 2 now. And let's write this down. So I've got 3x plus 2y equals 7. Now we said, didn't we, that x is actually 1, so we're going to do 3 multiplied by 1 plus, so it's 3 times 1, okay, plus 2y, sorry, equals 7. Now we know it's not actually y now, is it? We know it's multiplied, and we said y was actually 2. Let's put them in brackets as well. So now we know 3 times 1 is 3. Add 2 times 2 is 4. And if we do 3 plus 4, it gives us 7. Way! It's working. Brilliant. And you can substitute. Remember, you're switching over just like they do in football. So we replace the x for 1. We replace the y for 2. And then we did the equation. And it worked. It worked. Brilliant. So now we know this. We can practice some more. So let's have a look at another one. Let's do this, folks. We've got 2x plus 3y equals 19, and we have got 2x plus 2y equals 22. Now remember, number 1 is we are going to number each of the equations. Every time we make a change, we give it a number. So this is equation 1, and this is equation 2. Remember, press pause and copy this down. If you need to rewind forward, then go for it. That's the whole beauty of watching these videos. So we've got number 1, we've got number 2. We've got to now match make. Okay, we've got to match make. We've got to multiply something to try and have them have something in common. So thinking about this, I can make the 3 into a 6 again and the 2 into a 6 again. But if I look on my left-hand side, the x's here. I've got 2x and I've got 6x. That's interesting, isn't it? Because I'm wondering, instead of multiplying both of them, maybe I can get away with just multiplying one of them by 3. Can you see why I'm going to do that? Well, I'm going to call this equation 3 now, okay? I'm going to draw a line here. And I'm only going to multiply number 1, equation number 1 by 3, because 2x multiplied by 3 will give me 6x. And that's excellent because equation 2 has also got a 6x. So now my matchmaking stops. I've got two 6x's. That's going to be brilliant. So plus, let's change everything else. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9y equals 19 times 3. So 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 1 is 3, 4, 5. So that's 57. Okay. So now my third equation, number 2, has now transformed into 6x plus 9y equals 57. Now, remember, because I've got number 2 here, I don't need to do anything different to that because I've got the 6y. So all I'm going to do is write equation 2 here, because I'm going to take it away from that. So what do I have here? 6x plus 2y equals 22. And I am aligning them up so that I don't have to do extra working out on the side. So I'm going to do a takeaway minus here. Draw my line underneath. So 7 take away 2 is 5. 5 take away 2 is 3. 9 take away 2 is 7. So that's 7y. And I've got the plus sign stays the same. Then 6x, take away 6x. Oh, it's nothing. Brilliant. So I don't need to have this here. I can just rub that one out. So 7y equals 35. And now what do? Do you know what to do? Do you remember? I'm going to divide on this side by 7. Because I know that 35 divided by 7 is going to give me 5. Very clever. So here we've got 7x divided by 7 is going to leave me with the y on its own. And 35 divided by 7 is going to give me 5. So yay, I've got my answer. Y equals 5. So I'm now going to draw my line going down. Look, we match made. We subtracted them and we solved it. Now we're going to do substitution here. Okay, so I want to choose number 2. So 6x plus 2y equals 22, right? And this time I'm going to substitute. So we said y equals 5. So here's 5. Now 2y means 2 times 5. So this means 2 times 5. I'll put that in bracket. And I've got 6x plus the answer that will be here, 22. Let's work that out. So it actually is 6x plus this is 10, right? Equals 22. And I'm continuing with the solving and substituting. So we do a little bit of both. So I'm going to take away the 10 because I want that x on its own. So take away the 10 on this side as well. All right. So now it's going to cancel out, you see. So I'm going to start that at the bottom. So 22 take away 10 is 12. And 10 take away 10 is nothing. So now I've got 6x on its own and I'm getting excited because that x is almost on its own. Yes, yes, yes. So let's see, we'll put the x. Now, what do I do next, folks? I've got to divide by 6. and I'm going to divide by 6 on this side. So 6 divided by 6 is going to leave x on its own, because a variable, any letter on its own, just means 1. All right, so 6 divided by 6 is 1. We know that. And I don't have to put 1. I don't have to put that 1 there, because it means x on its own means also 1. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. Hooray! So now we can check. All right, so we've got here, I've got y equals x. And here I've got x equals 2. Ta-da! Let's do my last set of working out. So now this time I want to substitute. I want to make sure, I want to see that this is right. Okay, I want to test myself and see if I've got this. So I want to choose let's do number 1. Okay, so let's do number 1 is 2x plus 3y equals 19, right? And we know that 2x is at 2x, x equals, where is it, 2? So this is 2 times 2. And this one, y, we said was 5. So this is actually 3 times 5 equals 19. So these two, I do 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 5 is 15, and I add these two up. Yay! So 4 plus 15 is 19. Who's smart? Who's cool? Who knows how to do this? Okay, you know how to do this. We've got this covered. Have another go. I'm going to leave you with a few more. Okay, you feeling brave? Remember, rewind, write out the notes. Let's do another one together, because I'm so excited. We've got this. And now we're looking at a word problem. Solve the following equation. Where's the equation? Well, we're going to put the equation in, okay? Don't be afraid. Whenever we have word problems, they can be quite tricky because there's so many words and numbers. So what you've got to do is circle the numbers so that the problem becomes a little less. So I circle all the numbers now, like so. And when I read this, it's just going to be a little bit easier for me to then start thinking about a solution or an equation, okay? So 3 bags of potatoes and 2 bags of carrots together weigh 14, which means 3 bags of potatoes, put that as a P, and, which means to add, 2 bags of carrots, so 2 bags of C, that's carrots, will give me 14, right? That's my equation 1. Then we've got equation 2, which is 2 bags of potatoes. So 2 bags of potatoes plus 4 bags of carrots give me 16. Good. And now what do I want to do? So let's write this down because I might forget. So we had to number them. We had to match make them or multiply. Then we have to, does anyone remember? Yeah, we have to then solve it, and we can subtract and substitute. Okay, so that's our little steps that we need to remember. NMS triple S, NM triple S. So let's see. I've done the numbering, match make, right? Which one is, how can I match make them? Well, this one I can turn into a 4, I think. So if I times this side by 2, okay, so let's do that. 3p times 2 is going to be 6p. And 2c becomes 4c. equals 28. Right, now I've got to take away, subtract. So I'm going to subtract it from 2, which is going to be 2p plus 4c equals 16. And I'm going to take that away. So 8 take away 6 is 2. 2 take away 1 is 1. And here 4c take away 4c is nothing. 2p take away 2p, 6p take away 2p is 4p. And now I want to get them on their own, so I'm going to divide this by 4. And I'm going to divide this side by 4. So which will leave me with p on his own. P equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this is my answer here for P. Let's see if that works. I'm going to put a line here so I can do my working out here as well. So this time I'm going to substitute. I'm going to put the 3 in for, let's try the second one. So 2p now becomes times 3. Okay. Plus 4c equals 16. So that is going to be 6 plus 4c equals 16. Which will be, now I can take away the 6 on this side. Take away the 6 on this side. So that will become 10. And this will be 4c. And now I can divide this side by 4. Divide this side by 4. And I am going to get a decimal number, aren't I? Equals. So now I've got c on its own. Here we go. C is on its own. So I'm going to do, how many 4s are there in 10? There are 2 definite 4s. All right, and it's going to give me a decimal point number. And then I've got 2 left over. So that's going to give me, so if you were to do your working out, 2 left over will give me 5. So let's, if you were to work it out, so 10 divided by 4. How many 4s are there in 10? There are 2. What's left over? Decimal point. 2 is left over. Put another 0 there. How many 4s are there in 25? So that's why the answer is 2.5. Okay, that's your division to help you there. Now I can rub this out. And let's now put this into action and see if it works. You're going to cross your fingers. So we've got P equals 3 and C equals 2.5. This is a real tester, folks. Are we going to do this? Let's try it with number 1, shall we? So we had number 1 here was 3p plus 2c equals 14. Is it going to work? 3p plus 2c equals 14. So 3p is 3 times 3. And 2c equals 2 times 2.5. Let's put it in. So that's 9 plus 5. Yes, we did it. So it works. We got it right. Of course we got it right. We knew we were going to get it right. Nothing was going to go wrong. This is why it's so fun. Okay, so press pause, rewind if you need to. I'll have a few more questions for you to do and try doing them again and again. So this is my top tip. Number one, make sure you read through, write your notes. Number two, press pause, do exactly the same question again on your own and see if you memorized what the steps were. And then you can watch back and see, is this how we did it together? And if you didn't, rewind again and see, test yourself again until you get it right. So these three examples were brilliant ones to have a go with. And then if you've got any other homework, you can then match it with that. I will leave you with some. If you ever get minus 4, minus, if this was minus here, then you would do the opposite. Then you could add instead. Okay, the reason why we take away 4 and take away 4 here is because there's a plus sign. But if you get stuck, remember we can have another bash. For number making, matchmaking, we've got the number them, matchmaking, multiplying. Then we've got the subtracting or adding, solve it, and then substitute. All right, so don't forget the steps. This is numbering, so number 1, equation number 2. And now we want to match make. What do they have in common? I think these guys here can be turned into 6y's by 3 times 2 and 2 times 3. Let's do that. Let's do that. So number 3 becomes 4 times 2 is 8x. And 3 times 2 is going to be 6y equals 54. 27 times 2 is 54. And then I'm going to do my next one. So equation 4 is now 5 times 3 is 15x. Take away subtracted by 3 times 6 is 6y equals 5 times 3 is 15. Now, normally, so we've done this. Now, normally we subtract when we've got 2 plus equations, but this time we've got a subtraction. So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to add. All right, we're going to add these two because it's going to mean 6 plus y, subtract, add minus 6y, and that will cancel it out. So instead, this time adding them will give me 69. That will be cancelled out. And then this is going to be 15 plus 8 will be 23x, and the next step is to divide by 23, divide by 23 equals, so x will be on its own, and this is going to be 3, so x equals 3. Yes. Now let's do the next one. Now I'm going to choose equation 2 to solve y. It is going to be a little bit tricky. If I would probably have chosen equation 1 because there's a plus sign in there, but I'm choosing this deliberately so that we can work with negative numbers. Sometimes it's not our cup of tea, it's not our most favourable, but if we practice the things that we don't like doing, we'll get used to it. So here is equation 2. I'm just double checking so I don't make any mistakes. 5x, take away 2y equals 5. Right. And now I'm going to put that x in. So x equals 3. So it's 5 times 3, take away 2y equals 5. So this becomes 15, take away 2y equals 5. And now I'm going to take away the 15, take away the 15 on this side, and it will give me a minus. So this gets cancelled. That's great. Leaves me minus 2y equals 5. Take away 15 will give me minus 10. Now I've got to divide by 2, minus 2. All right, divide by minus 2. Divide here by minus 2 as well, which will give me y on its own, and that will be 5. Okay, so now I've got to substitute them both and see if it works. Let's do this. So let's choose number 1. Let's choose equation 1. So 4x plus 3y equals 27. So 4 times 3 plus y, 3 times 5, right, equals 27. Is it going to happen? So this is 12 plus 15. And yes, it works. 27. Brilliant. Hooray. We did it. We did it. So we now know x equals 3 and y equals 5. What was different this time was we didn't have to add. In this case here, we didn't subtract, we added. Okay, we didn't subtract. Remember that S stands for subtract or for add. So that was the big change that we learned this time. I'm going to leave you with a few more to have a bash at. Remember, rewind, pause, write your notes and test yourself on the ones that we've done already. Have fun and enjoy yourself, okay? Because it's not all doom and gloom. You've got this. All right, we can do this. Good luck. Right, here we have question 5, question 6 and question 7. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tips here, okay? Because they're not straightforward. Let's start off with question 5. My little clues are here, when we get to matchmaking and we want to find and we want to multiply, my little clue is y and y are they've already got something in common. I'm not saying anything else, okay? So maybe you might not have to do anything. And then you can just carry on as normal. Question 7, I've got now a minus 9c and a minus 9c. So what are you going to do here? If instead of subtracting and adding, when we get to this stage, you're going to choose, am I going to subtract or am I going to add? So in this situation, minus 9 minus minus 9 is going to give you 0. All right. So when you get to this part, when you get to point 3, you've got to, I would suggest to subtract, but I'm not saying anything else. Now you have a go and see what happens, and I will leave you with some answers later on. Good luck. The answers are coming up, so press pause if you don't want to see them yet. Right, answers for question 5, question 6 and question 7. Remember, if you get stuck, go back, watch again and keep on practicing. Have fun.